1-0 defeat at home today against Bromsgrove Sporting. How do you sort of reflect on that overall?
It's just disappointing. It's really disappointing. We just said in there, it's not raised voices, it's not at that stage, it's more just disappointment and frustration, because I think for large parts of the game we was the better team and we played some excellent stuff, but the reality is that just at that top end we're still a bit short, and that's the difference, especially higher up you go. That will always be the difference, and we just come up a bit short tonight. But like I say, we've got to take the positives from it, because for the majority of the game these are an experienced step-free outfit, and I think that we controlled the game, and at times we cut them open a few times. But it's just disappointing because it's another loss. But the worst case scenario, we leave with a point. You take a point from that and you move on, and that's just a frustrating part of it. But like I say, we've got to dust ourselves down, we've got to carry on working, and I think now people are starting to see that there's a change, and they're starting to see that the way of what we're trying to do, and hopefully that they can see that, and we'll continue to keep going, and we're still miles off where we want to be, and the group will continue to get help. We'll continue to try and bring help in from outside, and we'll just continue to work. And like I said, we've got to dust ourselves down, take the positives from it, learn from the negatives, and move on to the next game.
And you conceded quite late in the first half. How much did the team talk at half-time change because of that goal?
Yeah, obviously for that reason it's of course going to have a different tinge to it, but it's more the fact of it just heightened the mistakes that we made in the first half. We're not talking like glaring obvious opportunities, but it's turning over a ball with no pressure, and where we were so good at that at times was our Achilles heel in other parts of it. And because of that, you know where things stem from. And then probably 2 plays before that, another mistake. So a mistake leads to a mistake that most people wouldn't see. But it just gives you a little bit more of a negative spin. But at the same time, we're going in there at half time and we're saying to them that you've controlled most of the game. That's something that you probably don't get a chance to say so often since the start of the season. So things are clearly changing, and like we've just said to them, it's not one of those where if you don't do this you're out. Absolutely not. But we are expecting a standard, and we are expecting a level now, and everyone is starting to see that, and we are constantly trying to improve the group and constantly trying to put something together that is gonna stay at step 3. So people have opportunities, and it's up to them to take their opportunity. And at that top end of the pitch today, it's just where we fell short. So if you flip the 2 teams from top end, probably win that 2 or 3. And that, again, that's not saying they were brilliant at that top end, because we defended well, but it was just probably had a little bit more of that ruthlessness, and that's all we're after. But again, it was no shouting and bawling today. It was more disappointment, because that's the first time where, in our opinion, we've came off genuinely being the more controlling of the 2 teams and lost a game of football. On Saturday we got what we deserved in terms of 3 points. Today we probably didn't get what we deserved, but it was only from our undoing rather than their good play.
Mm-hmm. And maybe on a slightly more positive note, again, there was probably some standout solo performances. One of them was Morgan. I thought, how do you think he played today?
Yeah, he was terrific. We've just said to him in there, it was at times tonight, it was a pleasure to watch him, and you know what, hopefully this is a good platform and a good foundation for him to come and enjoy your football and to keep pushing on. But at times tonight, just the stuff, the know-how, the bit of game management, it was, like I said to him, it was a pleasure to watch, and hopefully now that will give him more confidence moving on, and he can continue to help the team. And like I said, I thought there was a lot of positives out there. And we've just got to keep on going. And yes, tonight it feels a bit down because of the result, but there's so many positives to take from it. And tomorrow we'll get right on it. We'll speak straight in the morning, and we'll continue to work. And we've got to embrace where we are, and where we are is a fantastic football club with a fantastic facility. And these players have got to understand and also take that and have a pleasure of playing here and playing for this football club, and that's what we will continue to drive, and that will be driven constantly in the change rooms from us, but also from the players, and we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
And I think it's a week and a half break-ish now, but it's Kettering on Saturday 23rd, I think it is. So how do you sort of get the lads' mentality back to sort of winning now?
I'll be honest, it's probably the best thing that could have happened for us, because again we're in that position where recruitment is still ongoing. We are working on things, but it now gives us a week and a half to actually work on more things. Said to them they need to leave tonight with that bit on their shoulder where they've gone, we've gave them that game, rather than we've lost that game of football. So in terms of that winning mentality, that shouldn't disappear overnight from what happened on Saturday. They controlled the majority of the game, so you take the positives of that, and then you take into a week and a half of us being able to really work with them of exactly what we want. Of course we'll have Zayn back off international duty, so that's another big plus to your forward line, and the way we have started to go about ourselves in the last couple of games, adding Zayn back into that, I think we'll now see a different player from him, and that's not adding the pressure to him, but it's what he's needed, and it's what we've needed. So the good thing is we've started to see good styles and a good way of being able to hold ourselves at step 3 whilst he's been away. So get him back in the group, maybe a few other faces to help bolster everything, and let's get to work for a week and a half, and let's attack Kettering exactly how we attacked tonight, just with a bit more quality in that top end.